Hello and welcome back to another episode here on Solving the People Puzzle. Today in studio for the second time, 57 episodes apart, I have probably one of the youngest CPOs in South Africa, Stiaan Pienaar from Ocean Basket. Today we're going to speak about a highly significant intervention, a strategy, a goal, a dream that Stiaan is implementing called The Catch. No pun intended.
This is Solving the People Puzzle, where we discuss all things talent acquisition and human resource management.
Stiaan, welcome back. It is amazing to have you in person. The last time we did an episode, you were sitting at an Ocean Basket in a restaurant. We were online, 2022. Oh, thank goodness we have a beautiful studio and you're in person here. For the listeners who did not listen to the first episode, who've never met you, who are you? Let's intro you to all the listeners.
Thanks, Fran. It is absolutely amazing being with you again. It was Boksburg K90 Center. That's where I was sitting. Fun fact. Shout out to them and the team. Who am I? I'm 32 years old, almost 33, not yet. I'm 32 years old. I've been with Ocean Basket for about 9 years.
So,
coming up to my 10th year anniversary. Fun fact, I started as the payroll administrator for Ocean Basket.
9 years ago.
9 years ago. And a little secret of me, I did not have accounting in school.
And then you end up in payroll.
And then I ended up in payroll. I didn't make a mistake or lots of mistakes, but it's okay. Worked myself through roles inside of Ocean Basket. I have an incredible passion for HR people. I hate HR. I've got an incredible passion for the people part of businesses.
Wow.
And everything that I do, I try to add value into businesses from a people perspective. It's always people first, always humans first.
Yeah.
And everything that I do, I try to incorporate that.
Amazing. Now, when you and I met many years ago and we had our first episode, at the time we spoke about why do people do what they do and do you know who you work with? I'll never forget that episode. You were actually sitting in an Ocean Basket restaurant with your earpods doing the episode. The sound will be 1,000,000 times better in this episode. But I have one question for you from that episode, and then we can get into the topic today is, do you still feel the same way? And if not, maybe share both definitions from 3 years ago and now, or if you do still feel the same, do you know who you work with? Because I thought that was a fascinating conversation, and your answer back then was like really out of the box and weird.
Yeah, sure. I definitely can't say that I feel the same way. I think it's irresponsible of me to say that I feel the same way. So much has changed. I have changed.
Yes.
Me as a human has definitely changed. And the people that I work with back then versus the people that I work with back now has changed. That in itself sounds like a duh.
Yeah.
But that in itself have given me different perspective. Do you know who you work with? I think the ultimate answer is a no for me at the moment. And I honestly can't recall exactly what I said back then. So I'll give you my authentic answer as I sit here today. I do think people in business working together these days, do we know who we work with? I truly don't think we truly know who we work with. I think we come to work with a certain face on, we go home with a certain face on.
Yeah.
But I do think, and I do still hold this belief, that it is our responsibility to try and find out who that person is.
100%.
That is 100% our responsibility and accountability. Leaders in business, it's more on their shoulders. If there's one thing that my heart has changed since then, is that the responsibility and the weight on leaders' shoulder. We can't go anymore, but they're just here to do X.
Sure.
I'm sure they'll be okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure they are okay.
Yeah.
I am sure.
Yeah.
That days are gone. People look for that leader that cares and is trying to know me.
I was doing a workshop on Tuesday and someone made this profound one-liner. They said, people are being confused with process and outcome. And it's human first. But that is actually not the point of the conversation. Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
Cool.
I would have been very surprised and impressed if you remembered your answer from 3 years ago. Stiaan, you mentioned change so much.
Yeah.
You have changed in terms of role and responsibility. congratulations on the new CPO of Ocean Basket. You must be one of the youngest CPOs in South Africa. Let's just reflect and celebrate that for a second. Like, how does that feel? What are the emotions surrounded by that? Because many of our listeners might be listening going, geez, I would love to aspire to that. That is my dream or my goal or my vision. So I think part of solving the people puzzle is to bring that inspiration and share that authentic truths around it. So let's not just skip past your promotion and the wonderful opportunity you've got now.
I appreciate that, friend. Really, I do. I am going to be that guy again. It's not about me. And I don't often stop and talk about it. But like, let me give you what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
It's bloody tough.
Yeah.
It is so tough. I think there's some people, few that knows what it takes, what it takes. I am learning every day. I do not believe that I'm good at it yet. I don't believe that I'll ever be good at it. And that's the beauty in it, because I'll always try to be my absolute best in it. The fact that I'm sitting here as the CPO at 32, almost 33 in a couple of days, is absolutely because of the opportunities that my team, the company, the brand has given me.
And your phenomenal Grace, the CEO, what a powerhouse.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is absolutely the opportunities that was given to me or afforded to me, or try this.
Yeah.
That is absolutely what it is.
Yeah.
Yes, of course, I went for it. Yes, of course,
You
there's
work hard.
many nights. I'm not going to say that I work hard because I feel I offend other people, because we all work hard. Everybody always work hard. But yeah, it's been an incredible journey. It has been an incredible switch in me since that day. You think different. You forget about yourself at some times.
Yeah.
You almost lose yourself because there's this bigger thing that's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can imagine the bigger thing is associated with so much more responsibility. But with responsibility comes the possibility of impact and making that impact. Now, before we get into the second part, where I want to take this conversation, Stiaan, is let's share with the listeners, what is it like working, managing, dealing, developing the strategy of people in the restaurant industry? I had Francois Sieberhagen here the other day, and I said, Francois, how do you find talent in the platteland? So is it different? Is it similar? Like, how is the restaurant industry and people?
So I think this is a lovely opportunity to, like, let me paint you the picture of our industry.
Yeah.
99.5% of your listeners has probably frequent a restaurant somewhere. So you are a customer. Some of them might know the workings behind the restaurant industry. Some of your listeners might know the hospitality industry. So you have an idea of how it looks. So here is our industry from a human perspective. There's about 1 million people in South Africa that works in the restaurant industry. I'm rounding down, by the way. Don't keep me to it. There's about 1 million people in our industry. Many of them do not have their papers. They are struggling to get their papers, so they are illegally in South Africa.
Sure.
We have many of them, if not all of them, that works for the absolute minimum of our country.
From a wage.
From a salary point of view.
Sure.
There's many of them that none of the brands can categorically promise you that it is the minimum.
Sure.
Let me leave that there.
Sure.
They come to the office or the place of work, the restaurant. They get there at about 5-ish. For some of my other colleagues in the industry, they get about 5 because they need to prepare for breakfast. They leave at about 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So that's a long day. A specific human inside of my business is a griller. Stands in a kitchen. Imagine how hot that environment is. He must
In our summer.
He's in that environment for extended period of times, taking breaks, all of that. And then I need to ask that person to come back tomorrow morning at 5 after his last shift ended. That is his day. The people in front of house, there's customers coming in. We all know that one guy,
Yeah.
that one girl,
Yeah.
that is a tricky customer. Some of the people listening is that person.
I've been one.
100%.
Yeah.
Thank you for that,
Yeah.
by the way. But now I have to deal with that. I've got my own stuff doing. It's a tough industry to be in. Okay. Many years ago, it was an industry where I am on my way to become something, and this is my piece job. This is my
My stepping stone.
this is how I get a bit of bucks, a stepping stone as such. And then I do it because it's lekker, and then I leave. Today, it is a career
Sure.
which pays minimum wage, long hours. It's a difficult environment to work in from a human perspective and from a environment perspective.
Sure.
Finding people in our country is easy because there's many. Finding the right person in our industry and keeping them is incredibly difficult.
Sure. What a breakdown and super fresh perspective around what this looks like. And I can imagine in an industry like yours, you've got the head office, which looks similar to the audience listening, right? If you consider your own work environment. But then you've got this massive audience, the restaurants.
Yeah.
And 140?
Yeah.
Yeah.
132 odd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With this staff breakdown that is dealing and working with this environment. Now, Stiaan, how does one take that and then develop a people strategy? And you mentioned the word attraction, hiring the right talent. Is that part of the design thinking when you entered into this role? And if you don't mind, like, where's your mind around that?
Sure. Fabulous question. Thanks, friend. And if I may, I want to share something personal to the listeners as well, because it's so deeply connected in how the strategy actually developed.
Of course.
Is because and at the end of last year, I went through a difficult time, lost my dad, and me, Stiaan, went through this whole thing of finding purpose. Again, Stiaan is going through all of the life stages that everybody else is going through. It's nothing special.
Yeah.
The book is there, so I'm just going through it. But I'm trying to take the learnings from each stage, and I'm really trying to make an impact on what I do with it. So, yeah, I am looking for purpose in my life. There was a day, and my team, if they ever listen to this, they will definitely agree with me. I sat them down the one day, and I asked them this question. I said to them, close your eyes and imagine I die. And tomorrow, the company does not replace me. What will happen?
Sure.
So anybody can ask that question. It's a lovely self-reflection question. If you do not exist anymore, okay, we don't have to be as extreme. Don't die, please.
Yeah.
But
You're not
leave.
there anymore. Yeah.
And the company does not replace you. What will happen?
Sure.
Will everything just go back to normal? Will they ask the finance people to do payroll? Will they ask the administrator to do the HR? Yes. The answer is yes. The company will find a way.
Yep.
And then I sat there and I said, wow, that's not lekker to know.
Yeah.
So then I went on this journey. Cool. Ocean Basket's strategy must be, how do we add then value if the person that created the start of it is not there anymore?
Sure.
So that's where our strategy was born out of. And we call it the good recipe.
Okay.
The good recipe is very simple in nature, as our industry is actually. We want good people. That's it. We don't want exceptional people yet. We don't want great people yet. We want good people.
Sure.
We want to start there. And then we started breaking down what good looked like. For each role, every single human in our business has their own recipe.
I love it.
Every single human. They know exactly what do they need to be good. Now, my role, my team's role is to build and nurture and create that for them.
Sure.
Giving them knowledge, the right skills, looking for the right personality, creating purpose stemming from where I was. And how do we care for humans? If we get those aspects right, we will have good people. And then I started building and developing from there. Everything that my team is doing at this moment
Is around that.
is around the good recipe. And a person that is a waiter sitting or standing where he is today has the recipe in front of them. The beauty of what we are trying to build here is I also have the manager recipe, and I've given it to them.
Yes.
It is their prerogative to go and see, what am I lacking?
Succession 101.
Active learning.
Yes.
All of this stuff that we're speaking about. So we have an academy, an internal academy called OBI Academy. They are responsible for creating, developing, making sure that the learning content for our knowledge and skills is there.
Sure.
A waiter can go and learn the manager's recipe, go and build their skills for the manager. There will be a day where they come to us and say, look, I am fit for the manager recipe.
And I know, sorry to interject you, but I know that you're very passionate about people must either move or leave.
100%. I've said it so many times.
Can't just sit there for 10, 15 years.
100%. And again, the amazing thing about everything is the industry has taught me that it's not Stiaan.
Yeah.
Because 20 years ago, listeners, let's say 40 and up, excuse for the age call out, but they will know that they were a waiter, waitress at some stage.
At some point.
On their way to become a lawyer.
Sure.
Now, back then, they knew they're going to move on. The restaurant owner knew they're going to move on, which is great.
Yeah.
Why can't we bring that back? But it brings such an enormous, different thinking brain to that conversation, because we are sitting with a candidate base that is illiterate. Like some of them can't write their own name. They are not legally in the country, so they are struggling. There's so many other obstacles for them.
Yeah.
I can't just tell them go away.
There you go.
I need to pack their suitcase for them before they leave.
Think you've got a hiring conundrum that even we can't solve? Well, prove it. Drop that conundrum in the comments below. And who knows, we might even attempt to do an episode on it, unpack it and solve it so that everybody can hire better people faster. I can imagine what you're trying to build towards starts by where you attract and how you get them into this recipe, right? Is that hard? 1,000 walk-ins every day dropping their CVs, or is like...
So just to get back to your first point, is 100%. So it's always that balance between, am I looking after what I've got right now, or do I make sure that what I find is what I'm looking for?
Yes.
And the balance is always there. It's not a right or wrong.
Yeah.
We have just made the call to try and focus on both. So there's a journey for the existing people inside of our business, which the Academy is holding, and then to catch up on years and years of lacking behind. And we're going to get into that, is really putting a lot of energy into getting our recipes into the world so that we find them and attract them sooner, better, at a good level.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's the first part. On your second question, here's the problem statement. The restaurant industry, I've got 130 odd restaurants, franchisees owning those restaurants, countless more other brands. There is this million base candidates looking for a job, unemployed, and the best thing they can do is either ask a friend, do you know of something?
Yeah.
Or walk about with a CV printed from Postnet and give it in and hope for the best.
Yeah.
In seasons, easy. The need is there. Demand comes. So give in, I'll call you in 2 weeks, you can come. Our industry is built on fast pace. Franchisees, restaurant owners, corporate stores, it's about the ease of getting the people in the business. Why? Because I've got a business to run. I've got customers.
I need a waiter now.
We are open 24/7.
Yeah.
There's 2 days in the year that we are closed. Many people think, no man, I'll jump on it Monday. Okay. Doesn't work like that with us. My restaurant is open Saturdays and Sundays. In fact, Saturdays and Sundays is the busy days.
Yeah.
So Stiaan needs to be switched on Saturdays and Sundays because our business is on. So finding people, we reverted to an easy solution of, give me your CV. Here are you.
Yeah.
Phone your friend, can he come?
Yeah.
Let me see him quickly on Monday. I'll give him a job.
Yeah.
Desperation meets desperation.
Yes.
Oh, that's lovely. Desperation from a person and desperation from a
beautiful recipe.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
100%. And that's a moment of disaster because I'm desperate on both sides. So I will lie because I'm fantastic, and I will take you because I need somebody to start.
Even though I might believe by just looking at you that you're the wrong person.
100%.
Yeah.
But there's such a desperation in me
Sure.
that if I don't like you, I'll can you.
Yeah.
Just come on Monday. So this is the problem statement. It is easy and it is born out of desperation. And with that, you can never get to truly good. And yes, of course, the idea here is that in 5 years' time, I sit here and I tell you that I'm looking for great.
Yes, of course.
And then my recipe will be defined as great.
Yes.
But this problem statement, we have realized, will never get us to good. It will get us to okay. So where we are right now is we are at okay.
Then you approach me and we
Yes.
have a conversation.
Yes.
And you tell me a story about a house. And I'm not going to try and tell it. Please share with the
Okay,
listeners.
sure. Think about a house. Think about 1,000 people coming into the front door. I have 1,000 people in the foyer.
Yes.
So imagine a man or a lady standing in the foyer with a clipboard and asking you 4 questions. If you answer these 4 questions correctly, you go into the living room. So let's say out of the 1,000, 500 people go to the living room. In the living room, think about 5 desks, literal desks with humans sitting behind them. The 500 will enter the room and they will go to each station, let me call it that.
Yeah.
And each station requires an assessment or a test. As an example, do you have a South African ID? Yes or no? If you have a foreign document, do you have a work permit? Yes or no? Second table, do you have a South African bank account? Check. Third table, quickly do me a numeracy and literacy test so I can gauge where your strengths are. Other, psychometrics. Let me get to know you a bit more. And then lastly, how do we get to a place that we can see your energy, your vibe, your purpose? You should realize that it connects back to my recipe. So how do I check the elements of your recipe? Okay, so that's the thinking. So that happens in the living room. If you get a tick at all 5 stations, you can go to the patio, where the drinks are, where the tables are set, where the drinks are waiting for you. Out of that 500, let's say 100 gets 5 ticks. They go to the patio. The 400 that didn't get all of their ticks, so there's some requirements.
Yes.
The idea that we've got is to take those 400 and like many, many other companies, and I don't want to say all because I don't have that data, but many other companies and brands will leave you right there and ask you to please leave.
Yes.
We want to approach it a little bit differently. We want to take that 400 and send them to the bedroom. Still in our house. We will then invite the Department of Education, the Department of Labor, the Department of Home Affairs, our own academy, the big banks of South Africa, and so forth and so forth. We will invite them to come play with us.
Sure.
In that room, FNB, ABSA, I don't want to call you out, but any of the big banks will sit there and say, cool, I'll give you a bank account. You meet my requirements.
And another tick happens.
And then the tick happens. Now imagine if in that person in the living room only needed the bank account in his life.
From there, goes to the patio.
100%. You get all of your ticks, go to the patio, and I'll explain to you what the patio is, why that's so incredible. The others, home affairs, so whatever you need, immigration documents, whatever you need, academy, we will make literacy, numeracy, assessment, skills, knowledge bases, whatever it is, available for you to go and play with for free, for absolute free. You can do what you need to. When you are ready, come back. Now the patio. The patio is this place where people fit my good recipe. And then, coming back to my problem statement, I also have that person that was desperate to find somebody. But now I've given him a recipe of what to look for.
Yes.
So the patio is marrying those two people together.
Yes.
So now I've got a good person and a willing franchisee. or business owner. So they have drinks together. And the demand and the need stands together and they pick from there. So if I would need a waiter, there should be 5 waiters that is already checked, ticked, verified, everything has happened. The franchisee stands there and he says, cool, let's go. And you will see that it's the same thing as my problem statement.
Yes.
There's just this massive thing in the middle that happens.
And it's not desperate meeting desperate. It's intentional, proactive system, i.e. the house.
Yeah.
And then a connection point where from I understand what I need and who you are, now we can walk this journey together. But Stiaan, what blows my mind is what you do with the 90% that don't have the ticks yet. Because, and I don't want to say this, you need to say this, but what that does is even when they then reach the patio, it might not be your patio. And I know you're okay with that.
100%. Because I started off by saying we have an industry problem. I did not say we have an Ocean Basket problem.
Sure.
Ocean Basket does have a problem because the industry has a problem. Back to November last year, when Stiaan went through his thing, how do I add value when Stiaan leaves?
Yes.
Or my team leaves? What we are trying to build here is truly revolutionize the way we find humans for the restaurant industry as a whole. And if my colleagues at any of the other brands finds they're good, I am super happy. Why? Because it improves my industry.
Correct.
By definition, improving my business.
Yes. And improving the country.
And therefore improving unemployment, the country, all of that. So we are trying to build to something that improves our industry.
Yeah.
And then by definition will improve our business.
That is amazing. How is it going? Is it working? Is it off the ground?
So if I may, let me share you the name of what we call this thing.
I would love, yes, please.
And what we have decided to call this massive project is the catch. And yes, absolutely, the pun is intended. So
You've got the recipe, you've got the catch.
It is called the catch, and that is the patio. So if you think about the catch, it is the patio. And then if you think about Whamley, if there is a drum roll, it is the house.
Yes.
That is what you have effectively given me, is the ability to build this house. And we'll get into that now, I'm very sure.
If you would like to know how Whamley and Ocean Basket is changing the restaurant industry, changing candidates' lives, head over to our website, whamley.io, and book a call with us, because we would love to show you how we are helping them attract, screen, assess, interview, check their candidates, thousands of candidates, and then release them back onto what he calls the patio, where they can actually get jobs, be upskilled, grow their careers, and form part of a beautiful South African success story.
We have launched the catch to our internal franchisees for Ocean Basket. And I actually got some data the other day from your team. And we've done a soft launch on 4 of our restaurants opening up. And if I'm not mistaken, in 3 weeks that we've actively started with this whole house, the catch vibe, we managed to get around 17,500 people going into the house.
Unbelievable.
Which is incredible, which is absolutely incredible. And those 4 new stores we are able to fill because of that. Now think about it, 17,500 people that is trying to come showcase who they are.
Yeah. Looking for a job.
Blows my mind.
And then thousands of those that can go into the bedroom and get uplifted, upskilled, helped.
100%.
You spoke about the other restaurants. Have you had, because I want to do this on your behalf, that's how excited I am. Have you had an opportunity to maybe talk to someone at Spur or with Panarotis or whatever, and just share this vision? And if so, do they share the excitement?
So I have not that much.
Okay.
because it requires a very strong cup of coffee, because it is, as I said, is a different approach
Yeah.
to.
You're changing the industry.
It's a different approach. So definitely we have spoken to some people, and the excitement and it's absolutely there because we're all sharing the same problem.
Yeah.
So the excitement is absolutely there. People that we have spoken outside of the industry thinks it's an incredible thing that we're trying to do. We are also, to make this thing even more powerful, we are in the process to partner with a massive organization in our country. They're called Africa Cocoon, and they are an organization that works with people in South Africa to also uplift them. So but from a youth perspective.
Wow.
Now, we have started with that engagement, and we are at a place where we now need to plug these two in, where they will take people from infancy and walk with them to better them, give them opportunities, and we plug them into my door. So even that's another element of people coming into the house that is from backgrounds that has been not lekker. And there's some opportunities that was created for them as well. But the excitement is incredible.
Wow.
The people that we are sharing this with is absolutely incredible. The franchisees that's using this at the moment is loving it. So early signs is obviously good, but I'm biased. It's my baby, so I'm biased. So you must ask other people.
Well, you're biased on the one end, but then also overly critical because of your high standards. Okay, Stiaan, here's a question. I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit here, but there's listeners listening now who go, maybe their world or environment is unstructured. They're in HR, they're trying to make sense of the hiring landscape. It's unstructured. There's desperation. Hiring managers are taking shortcuts. They are dealing with tons of desperate people. They want to embark on changing the narrative, right? And I'm going to put you in even more on the spot. You can't give a one-liner like, just use whammy. Okay, that's not the answer. From a thinking perspective, how must they approach this problem?
If you can see me, I'm smiling.
Yeah.
Because my first answer is get something like Wembley. I'm joking. But to answer you properly, and I'm truly smiling because it's such a good question, and people often ask, how do I do that? I ask it to other people.
Yeah.
And I secretly dislike them giving me an answer because inherently it won't work. Because you don't have my context, you don't have all of the information. So here's my weird answer. You have to live it. But here's how I feel about it. And I'm trying to teach this to my team as well as best I can, is stop worrying that it must be structured. Stop trying to stop the chaos. Stop trying to make it easy. Stop trying to find a list, tick box list for you to work through. The best way for you to go from no strategy to a strategy is to live your business. Any and all HR professionals, people professionals, human capital professionals, whatever we call ourselves, you have to live inside of your business. What does live in mean? You need to understand your business from top to bottom. Yeah. That is what I expect from my team.
Yeah.
That is how you can help your hiring managers, your leaders, your CEO, whoever your customer or your client is in your business. You have to actively try to understand it, but be curious.
Yeah.
Ask questions.
Yeah.
Like gate crash meetings.
Sure.
Have difficult conversations. Don't run away when there's conflict between you and a difficult hiring manager.
Sure.
Take it on as an opportunity to understand more. HR individuals, professionals, we all know that there's this psychological element, industrial psych. If your background is industrial psych, you've got a little bit more exposure to it, but there's this human psychology behind HR as well these days. We need to try and decipher a human. We need to decipher 85 other humans for us to decide what is the next human that we need to hire. Building a philosophy or a strategy for your business requires you to be in your business, get to know your business, ask the tough questions, live it. On the ground, at top, wherever.
Yeah.
Don't stay home.
Yeah.
I want to say something, but I'm scared.
Say it.
If you are in HR and you work from home, I cannot go have coffee with you.
Sure.
And purposefully pausing there.
And I'm allowing for the uncomfortable awkwardness right now because that needs to sink in.
Like, honestly, I'm not judging you. Please don't get me wrong. A human professional, people professional, if you are sitting at home, working 3 days from home, 2 days from the office, we can't go have coffee. You can go have coffee with somebody else's coffee. Because that's why we exist.
Yeah.
Is to be with our people, is to make sure that the people that we connect with, touch, talk to, there's more than a computer screen. So yeah.
I love that you're saying it because we need the audience to hear this. And the part that you're so passionate about, and this is now not the coffee part, and you're passionate about that, serious about that, but was the part around don't run away from the anxiety, the ambiguity, the unstructuredness, the chaos. Go and get into it. Because once you fully immerse yourself in it, you'll start to understand it.
Oh, 100%.
And once you understand it, it becomes contextual to you. And from that perspective, you can build your strategy.
Oh, friend, you're saying such lovely things, and it's connecting back to what I'm trying to get across.
Yes.
If you go and live the problem is in your head. Why will you get the big bucks? Why will you get the promotion? Is the ability to take that problem
And solve it. Yes.
That is the key.
Yes.
But you can't solve a problem that you don't understand, that you haven't been in. And for me, bringing it back to me, because I only know what I did, is I spent 2 years in our restaurants, groundwork, going to our restaurants, spending time with our waiters, our grillers, our managers, our franchisees. Some of them I've irritated, some of them not. Some of them I'll get along well, some of them not. And it's only through that in November last year, it started making sense to me. We have that. So some people will have that ability to take what they've seen, lived, learned, and then in their head, they will get to a place and it will make sense. I promise you there will be a day
Where it clicks.
Stiaan,
this has been a phenomenal conversation. We can go on for days. I'm so glad that we did a follow-up many years later to see the progression in you, to see the growth in you, to see the growth in the business and in the business strategy. But ultimately the people strategy, the catch. I mean, what a phenomenal initiative. I am so proud that we can be on this journey with you. And someone once asked me, like, what is our top end, like think bigger. And I kind of reached at the very top the point to say, what if we can bring South Africa's unemployment percentage down?
It's your purpose. 100%.
So thanks for the journey and thank you for the conversation today, insights. I cannot wait in 2028 for episode 3 or the third conversation. No, it won't take that long. I know the listeners enjoyed this, so thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, friend. Really appreciate you. Really appreciate your team. It has not been possible without you guys. Like, honestly, it has not been. You have enabled this vision and this purpose to come alive. So thanks. Thanks for inviting me. Always a pleasure.
Amazing. Cheers.
Thanks so much for listening to Solving the People Puzzle. If you enjoyed today's episode, can you please go and like, subscribe, and even leave us a 5-star rating? If you have any questions around how to create the ultimate end-to-end hiring solution, head over to whammy.io so that we can help you hire better people faster. Catch you next time.